So I think it's about time I'm finally honest with you guys as to when the fall of SMA is gonna happen. So I'm gonna tell you guys a story. Around a couple weeks ago, I actually had a message come through, and the message was from a guy with good intention. He's basically like, hey Iman, I was thinking, and why don't you like aggressively push the fact that, the fall of SMA, the end of agency being a profitable business is gonna happen in the next like 2-3 years. So you gotta get in now, otherwise the opportunity is gone forever. And use that as a way to kind of push sales for my training business. I looked at that and I was just like, what? So after I saw this message, I actually reached back out to that guy and I'm like, dude, first things first, do you think I am an absolute idiot? Do you really think that right now I would have a business model that's only gonna last 3-4 years and then from there, it's not a viable business anymore? Because you guys need to remember, I still have my agency. I have my agency, it's teetering on around $40,000-$45,000 per month profit. I know I could scale that far past 6 figures. I like to keep it at that point and have minimal time commitment on that so that I can focus on, my real passion and purpose, which is, as you guys know, reforming the education system. And then, the first step in that is making sure that I have the best online programs possible, and that's a tall order. But either way, making like $40,000-$45,000 per month from my agency, that's quite a sizable chunk of income for me. So I'm like, dude, do you really think that I would base my business around something that's gonna be gone in 3-4 years? Do I look like that much of an idiot to you? Furthermore, I was like, dude, do you really think I'd be teaching people something that I didn't believe in myself? Because look, at the end of the day, you can bullshit people for a couple months or a couple years, but eventually it's gonna come out, and eventually you're gonna go from having a high-flying business to a business that's just gone. If you want an example, just look at the people who are selling cryptocurrency informational products, like as a business opportunity, as a way to make a full-time income. Now, granted, some of those people like genuinely believe that was a real business or a real business model, but a lot of them I know, like, they just want a cash grab. And sure, it worked for a couple months or maybe a year, but then after that, it was gone. And that's kind of the same way I view, first of all, my business and my training businesses. I don't want a business that's here today and gone tomorrow. My goal with my agency and my training business isn't to have a business that goes like that and then in 3-4 years I make all my money and I fuck off and I'm just drink pina coladas like in Mauritius for the rest of my life. That's not my goal. My goal is to build a ridiculously sized business. So in terms of agency, here is the truth. There's a couple reasons a business model or something could just stop working. Number one, saturation. So either it's the fact that demand stays the same, but supply goes up. So that could be one thing. Or it could be demand goes down and saturation stays the same, or it goes down, or it could even go up. There's a bunch of different reasons why a business or a business model could start to fail. So you gotta ask yourself this thing. Firstly is, will businesses need leads or sales? The answer is yes. So if businesses needs leads and sales, you gotta ask yourself, is marketing the best way to get that done? And the answer is yes, because that is the nature of marketing. Now, then you can drill further. And for example, in my case, I have an agency that specializes on paid traffic and webinar funnels. Then I have to ask myself, okay, will Facebook ads always be the best way to get results from my clients? And the answer to that is no. Look, at the end of the day, if in 10 years from now, like Snapchat, it happens that Snapchat is actually the best way to get results for my e-commerce and my info product clients, I will have the sickest Snapchat agency in the fucking world. But for now, for my clients, Facebook ads, Google ads, and a webinar funnel for my info product clients, and then for my e-commerce clients, it's not that hard to have a product catalog or whatever. So usually we don't need to do much work there. But my point is, for now, that's what works for my clients. So that is what I'm gonna continue to do. So as I said, having an agency will never go, it's never gonna be a business model that fails, because as I said, as long as businesses need customers and they need leads that could potentially turn into customers, then you're good. As I said, marketing is the best way to do that. Now within that huge marketing, within that top tier, there's entire umbrella. As I said, you could have like a LinkedIn agency, you could have a paid traffic agency, you could have a content creation agency. Within that sphere, it's a huge umbrella of things. And also for different niches and for different countries, like a different type of agency works better. So then the next thing people ask is, oh, but what if SMA stays saturated? What if demand stays where it is right now, and there's more and more people creating agencies? Well, one thing you need to understand is You log into YouTube, right? And say you are either currently have an agency or trying to grow an agency. You might log in and you might see, 5 different people that you look up to, and you might see the comment section and people are talking about their agencies and running agencies and starting agencies, and you might be in some Facebook groups, etc., etc. My point is, you are getting inundated with just tons and tons of people saying, oh, I just started my agency, I just signed a client, this thing, that thing, that thing, and this gives you the perception that there are tons and tons of new agencies sprouting up and there's not enough business to match that. By that I mean supply is going up, but demand isn't going up. You need to remember that we are pretty much just some like weirdos on the internet that have banded together to create an amazing life for ourselves. And the way we've done that is by building a real sustainable business, aka an agency. We're this. The global economy is all of this. You need to understand that most businesses aren't utilizing online marketing, and if they are, most of the time it is so shit. It was only a couple years ago that like most businesses clocked on to SEO, and like still a lot of businesses haven't even done that. So to reach mass adoption, it takes decades, like literal decades. And I can tell you honestly that most businesses aren't utilizing social media. Most businesses aren't utilizing Facebook ads, paid traffic in general, email marketing, LinkedIn. As I said, whatever sort of agency you have under this umbrella of having an online agency, most businesses aren't utilizing it. So the funny thing is, supply is going up, aka there's more and more agencies sprouting up. But I know for a fact, by the amount of businesses that come to me, by client, like for example, this client, right? Aura Ring, they were doing like $1 million a month with no paid traffic. So you would think that a business that's doing, 8 figures plus revenue a year would clock on that like, okay, now it's probably time to do paid traffic. You would think that most businesses couldn't even get to 8 figures a year without paid traffic. Well, here's a perfect example right there for you. And there are tons and tons of businesses I see out there. Like, sometimes I just get curious and like I'll see a business and I'll just go look up their page, check their info and ads, basically find out that they're not even running ads. And if they are running ads, they're just pretty pathetic and pretty weak. I genuinely believe that the demand is going up every single day, and the amount of businesses that actually need your services is like here, and the supply is like here. Now, the next thing I'd want to touch on is the fact that like you need to understand that like we're not selling a commodity, we're selling a service. So you got to look at a commodity like, for example, corn or oil. If the supply goes up and the demand stays the same, then things are going to get cheaper, okay? Or the market's going to get quote unquote saturated. That's different when you have a service. Now, here's basically what I mean by that. If you buy, let's just say you buy a pair of Bose headphones, right? And you can buy it from, last year you could buy it from 3 different places. Now you can buy it from 15 or 20 different places. Different companies have different rules on, like what retailers can then go on and sell it for, etc. But that's a different topic, Point is, if there's room for the price to go down, and there, last year there was 3 people selling these, and then this year there's 20 retailers selling this, the price of this is going to go down, because this is same no matter whether you buy it from like Walmart, Best Buy, Amazon, Bose directly. This is the same, okay? So that's kind of what I mean by a commodity. Like this doesn't change. Whereas a service, there's difference through and through. So even if more people come onto the market, just as long as you are better than the competitor or better than the person next to you, you are fine, because there is a differentiating factor between you. And look, if that's something that scares you, the fact that, hey, I might actually need to be better than my competition, then toughen the fuck up, because like competition is fun. Competition drives our global economy. Like, toughen the fuck up. All I can really say is get client focused, get operation focused, and get sales focused. Really, that's the thing that's going to separate you from the rest of your competition. When someone is young and they want to become a pro footballer, they don't look at their dream of becoming a pro footballer, and they don't look at it like, oh, there's plenty of other kids that want to become a pro footballer. I should probably just quit right now, or just like decide that's the end of the journey. They don't think about that. They're just like, okay, fuck it. Like, I'll just be better than everyone else. And there is a differentiating factor between me and the rest of the competition, so I will win. And it's the exact same thing with an agency. And I can tell you honestly, I have clients come to me and they tell me stories of agencies they've worked with and the way they've operated, and sort of the key KPIs that they like bring forward to them. They're like, oh, we got a cost per click at this price, which is just ludicrous because I have e-commerce and info product clients. So the key metric shouldn't be a cost, the cost per click. It should be like the cost per conversion or the total return on ad spend. My point is, I see it time and time again just how shit most agencies are. I see it time and time again once again, when clients come to me and they tell me the way that their old agency operated. So if you can just figure out a couple things operationally in your agency, you can just learn some sales. It's really like, I was gonna say it's really not that hard, you know. Starting a business is always gonna be hard, but it's not groundbreaking stuff. If you can just learn those things and you can have a better service than the agency next to you, you're gonna win. So I guess my long-winded answer to that question is, when will SMMA die? Never. Which is why I started in the first place, why I have my agency, and why I believe so strongly in the agency business model. So pretty much the only way that the agency world is gonna die, it's if your government decides, fuck it, we're all gonna become communists and we're gonna centralize everything and no one's allowed to be a business owner anymore. But then if that happens, I think you have a lot bigger problem story about then, you know, is agency world gonna die or whatnot. So to wrap this up, just remember, anytime you get that creeping thought or suspicion, oh, is the agency world gonna die? Are things getting too saturated and whatnot? I'd bring this down to two things. Just ask yourself the question, will businesses need leads and customers? And will that always be the case? And the answer to that is a profound yes. And number two, when you have that thought, just go, look, as long as I'm client focused, and if you wanna read an incredible book on being customer focused, just read Jeff Bezos, The Everything Store, or actually it's his biography. I don't know who it's written by, but yeah, Jeff Bezos, like basically his biography, and about Amazon, like their main obsession since day one was always about being customer focused. So in the agency world, just as long as you can be client focused, you're gonna kill your competition and you're gonna scale to the moon. So guys, hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.